Welcome. In DBDK, discussing why creativity is dead in 2024. I'm going to offer at least two reasons as to why creativity has slowly died over recent times. And I'm going to focus on why we must fight to bring creativity back to life. Inspiration, which is a precursor to creativity, is generally lacking in today's society. And this is easy to see. All we have to do is look at the art forms, including movies, music, advertisements, sport productions, content creation, literature. More particularly, we can see this in the lack of philosophical thought. It's sad to think that it's probably easier for any of us to rattle off the names of some well-known influencers or TikTokers, no matter how actually little we listen to their content or their message, versus being able to name modern-day philosophers who form a part of our frequent source of inspiration. It's difficult to find in a meaningful manner most of the fundamental elements of philosophy in modern art forms, which again include questions concerning existence, reason, knowledge, moral values, and the human mind. After all, when was the last time you felt inspired by any art form to dig deeper inside yourself and find an answer to a question you've had for a very long time? When did you last feel that a movie or a video game plot or its characters or a song for that matter had an impact on how you view the universe around you? Yet in 2024, unlike any other period in history, we have unprecedented access to information. Yet the global muse of creativity fails to inspire us to come up with something new. As I said at the introduction of this video, there's many reasons as to why creativity is dead, but I'm going to focus on two. The first one is social norms in Western societies, which on the surface tout absolute freedom of thought and expression. But unfortunately, the reality is that we often see these societies devolve in herd mentality and complacency. And unfortunately, those who want to bring forth new ideas, new perspectives, and potentially revolutionize the landscape are often afraid to do so because they might be labeled as something unfavorable. There's many isms to these unfavorable adjectives that are thrown around these days, many of which don't align with the original definition of that ism, meaning that they're misnomers, they're incorrect, they don't truly reflect the character of that person who is being accused of being that. This is a real problem, because this goes above and beyond having an uncomfortable situation or an awkward moment with someone at work, a colleague, or a neighbor who may disagree with our perspective. There's an economic side, an economic impact to the livelihood of many people who have in fact lost their jobs because they brought forth a different perspective, a different idea. And indeed, this fear, and as I said, social norms and the current norms that in many cases are not accepted by the majority of people, but on the surface it might seem that way, it does place a shackle on creativity. It keeps it in place. It cannot move, it cannot evolve. So again, social norms, particularly in Western countries, have stifled creativity. There's another reason why creativity has been slowly dying over recent years. And on the surface, it might seem counterintuitive, but it is very true. And this is advances in technology, and in particular, the advent of the internet. See, on the positive side, advances in medicine and pharmacology have helped improve the lives of millions and have effectively expanded the lifespans of humans, particularly in those countries with ready access to these advances. Advances in agriculture and genetic engineering have reduced poverty and the scarcity of food around the world. We objectively have the easiest life any generation has had by any measure. Yet ironically, with all the comfort and ease of access we have in our lives, creativity does not thrive. There is a connection between struggle and creativity. Everything that's entailed in struggle, including pain, loneliness, uncertainty, not knowing if you're ever going to make it to your destination as you struggle, as you grind through a process, there is a connection, because the process of getting to the creative form is a journey, which generally starts with some sort of impetus, what we call inspiration, to move and traverse and move ourselves through what we later on describe as an inspirational journey, which then in turn can inspire others to also embark upon their own path, their own journey. And this is why we must fight to bring creativity back to life. If the hypothesis that pain, adversity, suffering in general is a precursor to creativity, if that is true, then the fact that we lack inspiration creates adversity, creates a negative situation, stifles creativity. We must overcome an even more difficult obstacle to get to the creative self. We must realize that the fact that inspiration being so scarce is in and of itself an obstacle. And if my hypothesis of creativity being the result of strife and struggle and tribulations, then the additional burden that today's society that we face can be used as a platform to step upon and elevate ourselves into a higher plane. And I do believe that when we look at those characters that inspire us to do something that otherwise we would normally not even want to do, what we truly see there is ourselves. For we must remember that we are the unfulfilled potential stuck in our current form. Without exogenous motivation, we must search internally, deep in our subconscious, to find the path to be who we are meant to be. This is why, more than ever, and given that we live in a world with little creativity, we must do the heavy lifting for others and make our way of life the source of inspiration to them. But remember, this is no easy task. This is the path of the few, not of the many. This is a lonely journey, one where you will question yourself, one where you will hurt emotionally and will wonder if you'll ever get to your destination, and you will question why you even started in the first place. But that's when you need to remember that this is the correct path to being complete, to being in harmony with yourself. To perceive is to suffer, said Greek philosopher Aristotle over 2,000 years ago. And being aware of the universe around us is a prerequisite to fully connect to it and tap into its infinite inspiration. Being comfortable in moments of suffering allows us to tap into hidden sources of creativity, so we must not shy away from difficulty, uncertainty, and chaos. For all of these are ingredients necessary for the unique aspects of creativity to manifest. Stay strong, stay focused. Most importantly, stay incorruptible in your pursuit to be yourself. I'll see you when you get there.